Andrew Gilman joins us on a Little Caesars Hot and Ready hotline. Well, I mean, do you want the floor today? How's this work? I mean, I feel like I need to ask you, like, this is the Andrew Gilman Show on 107.7 The Franchise.
It's my segment on your show.
Correct, yes.
Okay, yes, I know. You remind me all the time.
Uh-huh. And what would you like to start with today? Floor is yours.
Dealer's choice, huh? I don't know. I figured we'd talk a little Thunder or,
Well, usually you have an agenda walking in.
I've never had an agenda.
Yes.
I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to provide some sort of gotcha moment.
No. Look, you made agenda sound real negative there. I don't mean it that way. You made it sound negative. No, not at all.
Have you determined to be unhappy today? Is that the problem with you on Friday? What's the problem?
Really? Do I sound negative?
It's the rain, Andrew.
You just start. Maybe it is, Todd.
Why? Were you listening? You thought I was unhappy in the last segment?
No, I mean you just started with what do you want to talk about, and I don't appreciate it.
Andrew, I'm pretty first off, I did not mean that in a negative way.
All right, that's your apology.
I'm not apologizing. Secondly,
okay.
Secondly, you usually come in here and go, wait a minute, before you say anything, can I just start with something? Like you do that. And I like that. I enjoy it. So I was just wondering if there was another episode of the Andrew Gilman Show coming.
I've got a vignette. I don't have an episode.
All right, go ahead.
Yesterday, part of the interview, exit interviews with the Thunder, which is it's interesting because all the guys come in. You get a lot of questions that Durant and Westbrook and whomever else walks through the door. And Westbrook talked about how he's got to get better, and one of the things he's going to do is really concentrate on watching game film. Okay, well, that's sort of a standard answer. Lots of guys say that lots of times in different situations. So I heard him say that at least a couple times. I'm certain that he said it at least a couple times. And then I said to him, well, Durant said he's not going to watch any of the playoffs. He's just not interested in watching the playoffs, which, sidebar, I have a hard time believing that because Kevin Durant's 100% about basketball.
Same
Why
here.
would he not watch basketball?
Same here.
Okay. But we'll allow it. We'll allow it. He's not going to watch it because he's upset. I get that mentality. So Russ said, I'm not going to watch any of the playoffs. And I said, well, he said, I never watch any other team. And I said, well, when you said you watch film, do you watch any other team? He said, that's right. That's what I just said. I don't watch any other team. Which I don't know what film he's watching. Is it practice? Does he cover up half the screen? But he was just determined not to answer that question.
I think it's the Goonies, I think that's the film he watches.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. But to say that
I think he was just
he was just being difficult, and I don't know why. Everything else was going swimmingly. He was fine. And then he said, I don't watch any other teams. And I said, oh, so are you going to watch playoff basketball? And you said you watch film. No, I don't watch any other teams. Okay, well.
Breaking news, Russell Westbrook is difficult.
Oh, gosh.
Well, have a good summer. That's what I wanted to say. See ya. So.
This is, you are feeding the Todd anti-Russ monster right now.
It's not a monster. It's just the facts are that he's just determined to not answer the question. Not, just sort of, listen, that's a good chicken fried steak. Are you sure it's chicken fried? I mean, him and Bob Stoops are very similar in that way, that they're just going to be combative. Like the other day at the spring practice, someone asked him, what about this air raid offense? I don't call it that. Well, what do you call it? I call it the Oklahoma offense. Okay, all right, let's just move on.
That's a little bit like, we need to get back to playing Thunder basketball.
Yeah, what does that even mean? Nobody even knows what that they're going to run the Oklahoma offense. Everyone else is going to call it something different. We'll run the Oklahoma offense. But I'll tell you what I enjoyed yesterday, and I don't know that this is going to last long, and I know Todd is on the anti-side of this too, but how long does the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball allow this Periscope stuff to go on? Because I broadcast every second of what Kevin Durant said yesterday, just raw, everything, just as it was happening.
Why would it matter?
Well, I mean, the NBA owns its material, especially at a game. Could I sit up there during a game and broadcast the whole thing?
No, wait a minute. Yeah, the game, yes. Nobody has any broadcast rights to a pregame press conference.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know how. I'm not a patent lawyer.
I don't think. I mean, nobody. I don't think anybody has any I don't think anybody has
Thunder,
any broadcast rights to an exit interview.
Okay. Well, how about the Thunder themselves? They might not like.
Hell,
that.
we broadcasted it live on here, and we don't have any tie with the Thunder.
Okay. Well,
I'll be honest. From what I've heard about the Thunder media people, I'm surprised they don't pat you down and make you go through a metal detector anyway.
Oh, here
Settle
we
down,
go
Todd.
again.
Now,
See what you're doing? You're feeding the monster.
They brought pizza in there yesterday for everybody.
Well, that was nice. That's
That's
cool.
kind of nice.
How much validity is there to the Scott Brooks rumors?
I have a hard time believing that he won't be back next year. And I thought Trammell made a really good point in the paper this morning when he said, you want to bring in another coach and try to have him coach Russell Westbrook for a year? That's a learned process.
Yeah.
And right now, Scott Brooks, whether you agree that he coaches him well or not well, he handles him in a way that someone else would take a long workshop time to figure out how to do that. And I don't think this is the time to mess with it the year before Kevin Durant may or may not leave.
That's true. I've been saying that for a little while now, and I may be making a retraction on that, but I'm going to save it because I want to ask you about a couple of different other things. The KD Russ dichotomy next year.
Okay.
Will it change? How much will it change compared to years past because of Russ's I don't want to say emergence because he's always been a star, but extra emergence.
I think it's a combination. I think it will change, and I think it's a combination of that, but more so next year, man, it's going to be a circus. Every game, every practice, every time KD gets a new haircut, talks about the beach or the mountains or basketball, it's all going to be sort of cut up, dissected, and analyzed about what this means for Oklahoma City. And I think it's going to wear off eventually in the locker room. If he signs a deal in the offseason, maybe in October or something, I think it'd make everybody's life a lot easier around the sun. And obviously they would do it in a minute. They do it tomorrow, of course, if they can. But the longer this goes, I think it wears on the team, and particularly Russ, because he's going to have to answer questions about, all right, you're going to go through this next year. What do you think? And I think dealing with the side circus of contracts and beyond, that can take its toll, definitely.
Andrew, KD's saying all the right things, that he wants his jersey to hang from the rafters and he wants to retire a Thunder.
Did he actually say that, though? I mean, or did he say it would be nice to play in one place your entire career?
Well, it's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I guess, but
more of what you said, Andrew.
Okay. I'm sorry, I mischaracterized his statement. But anyways, Kevin Durant saying all these things, why would he wait until the end of next season and go through free agency if he really means those things?
Oh, I mean, it could be he's just talking because that's who he is. It could be an agent telling him to say certain things. I can't imagine that would be the case, but
it's extra money, Todd.
It's all. I don't know that KD is trying to provide some sort of. I don't know that there's some sort of conspiracy brewing where he's trying to get more leverage, because whatever he's going to be paid, he's worth more. I mean, is he worth $100 million a year to the Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, they can't pay him that, obviously, but LeBron James is worth every bit of that. He's worth it to the city, to the team, the ESPN scroll, everything.
You ever wondered if the NBA didn't have a salary cap?
Well, like baseball, you mean?
Yeah.
You pay LeBron James $150 million a year.
Or even better, the NBA has a salary cap, but there is no player max.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Boy, that would be,
so you could pay
holy
Deion
moly.
Waiters $1 million, but pay Kevin Durant $82 million.
That's basically what happens, right? I mean, there ends up being a huge dichotomy.
FanDuel. It's like a FanDuel sort of thing.
Well,
You got to get in under the number.
But yeah, you got to get in under the number. Yeah, but there is no player max. So I mean, now it would just be wild to see what kind of fluctuation you would have in like where would be the tipping point in terms of what player would be making too much money.
Like you could have a team that the starting lineup is Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Vander Blue.
That's right.
That's
Josh
probably right.
Eustace.
That's probably right.
And Bismack Biyombo. That would be your starting five.
Or your mid-level players may just make a whole bunch less.
That's right. Yeah, Anthony Morrow makes $350,000 a year. Russell Westbrook makes $42 million a year.
That'd be crazy. Anyway, fun facts for no and tell. Hey, the OU football, the spring game. We haven't talked to you since then. Anything come out of it that struck you?
Guaranteed that Baker Mayfield's the quarterback. What came out of that for me?
Yeah. What did you think about him? Tell the people what you thought about him.
Well, I mean, he was fine. He was fine just like everybody else was fine. But the reason that I think he's going to be the starting quarterback is not because of his performance. It's because of everyone else's performance, which was severely limited and shackled by the coaching staff because they didn't want to show too much. I was irritated and sort of disappointed that the coaches admitted that after the game, that said, oh, this practice with this game, we put a lot less time into that than we do into our other practices, yet they're charging us for this stuff. And if you're going to limit everyone and not show anything, what that does is it keeps a guy like Cody Thomas. Let's say he goes out there and goes, 13 for 16 for 250. Well, then suddenly you got this groundswell of people that think, oh, my God, Cody Thomas. Right or wrong, that's what would happen. But because nobody could open it up or do much of anything, they got everybody on the same playing field. And if everyone's on the same playing field, Trevor Knight and Cody Thomas last year led OU to an 8-5 record. You have one guy that's inconsistent and injured, and another guy that they didn't trust to pass the ball, throw the ball at all. Justice Hansen is a non-contender. If you throw him out, you're looking at a team that was 8-5 last year with two quarterbacks that were not very satisfactory. Obviously, they're going to go in a new direction.
Andrew Gilman with us here on 107.7 The Franchise. I want to ask both you guys this, and I'll start with you, Andrew. There was talk that heated up, and I was anti this talk of Russell Westbrook for MVP.
Oh, shocker.
But I want to ask both you guys, we have these new NBA Players Association awards. Do you think Russ will get more or less MVP votes from the players than he gets from the media?
I will say more without any explanation until Zach talks.
I think it'll be slightly more because I think there'll be a contingent of the players that go, well, he didn't make the playoffs. I mean, how can I give it to him? Now, if they would have won, if the Pelicans would have lost the last game, I think it would have gotten him a bunch more. But it'll be slightly more.
I think there'll be a bunch of players who say, "Man, Russ gets a bad beat in the media. He gets more credit from us because we know what it's like going through something like that."
Right.
That's what he'll get more for.
Yeah,
cool,
the media just doesn't know.
Here, speaking of which, this season at OU football, Jason Kersey, who covers OU football for the Oklahoman, and a couple other guys put together a media award to the player at OU that is not easy to deal with, but is forthright with the media and all this honest and all these sort of things. I thought that was a wonderful idea, and it was called the J.D. Runnels Award because if you remember J.D., of course Todd does, he was real interested in talking all the time, and he was good at it. However, who do you think would get that award for the Thunder? Who would get the media award for the Thunder?
Steven Adams.
Yes, interesting that you say that, but all he does is sort of talk nonsensically. He's like me on Twitter. It doesn't really stand up for very long.
Then you've cut it down. Then by default, you've cut it down to what? 2 players?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a clear cut number one for me. I like talking to Steven Adams, but he's just goofy,
What's this award called?
Wait a minute. Yes.
The Kendrick Perkins Award?
Ooh.
They called it the J.D. Runnels Award for OU. I don't know what.
No, yeah, we're asking what would you call it for a Thunder?
I don't know. How about one of the former great Thunders of all time?
I'd probably say Anthony Morrow.
The Earl Watson Award.
That's right. Remember how aggressive he was with the media anyway.
I'd probably go with Morrow.
I would definitely go with Morrow. No doubt about it.
He, I tell you, I got to talk to him on the floor. He doesn't know me from Adam. I mean, he knows, he knows, he's seen me a couple times, but he doesn't know who I am. And
he's great.
He talked to me actually while he was doing his shoot around. One of the last games of the regular season, I was kind of asking him what his pregame routine is because he shoots from everywhere. I mean, he breaks a huge sweat before the game.
Yeah.
And he's like 30 shots from here, 30 shots from here, 30 shots from here. And I'm like, he doesn't know. He would have done this with any fan in the stands. I mean, he's just that guy. It's pretty cool.
He's so normal that he stands out for being ridiculously normal because most professional athletes don't talk like that. Derek Fisher was very similar to that too. But I always thought Derek Fisher was most like people like me and you in the locker room. He wasn't big. He was a little bit overweight. Just normal-looking guy. The rest of them are sort of freakish-looking. And Anthony Morrow certainly is tall, but he sort of acts and talks like the rest of us, which is refreshing.
And if you want to go way back, Andrew, with the Hornets here, you can call it the P.J. Brown Award because he was the best.
Oh, he is all-timer. Not the J.R. Smith Award. Maybe the Speedy Classic.
The Speedy Claxton Award.
Pokey Noke Bar. How about that?
Andrew Gilman was fired up.
Todd is an
And Andrew.
international superstar. He's well-versed in Italian cuisine, Asian-made vehicles, and European soccer. Excuse me, football. But management frowns upon Todd's soccer talk.
And Andrews.
Screw it. Let's sneak in some real quick. Here's 10 seconds of soccer with Todd Lisenbee.
And Andrew Gilman.
Starting now.
Energy FC home opener Saturday 7 p.m. Taft Stadium. Andrew.
Went local.
This is the precursor to the Oklahoma City getting an MLS team. I'd say we get one between 5 and 6 years.
And that was 10 seconds of soccer.
See you later, Andrew.
All right, guys.
Andrew Gilman, everybody.